Haiti borders with the Dominican.
Her name is Serena Buffalino. They call her Mrs. B, and her class always begins with a pledge.
Something local, something global. Haiti.
They're words that carry
Yes.
weight here. Helping yourself means helping others, giving back, here and a world away in Haiti.
And nobody's helping them, except for people like us.
It was through her the class learned of Haiti, of the nearly 1 million orphans, many with no school, no support, no Mrs. B in their lives.
They could not wrap their head around that.
Mrs. B's students are among Toronto's most at risk. Their challenges vary from emotional and behavioral difficulties to learning disabilities. Their trauma so severe they can't function in a regular school setting, and we aren't allowed to show most of their classmates.
For most of the kids, most of society has turned them away. And in this classroom, they're accepted. They're accepted no matter what for who they are.
Take Yolanda. She came here last year so burdened and withdrawn, she would often fall silent, sometimes for days on end. It was, she says, Mrs. B's patience, her quiet encouragement, that saved her.
She actually saves people's lives from dangers.
And perhaps that's why these marginalized kids feel such a kinship with the orphans of Haiti and why they were moved to act.
And so when Yolanda and Jackie and Patrick said, well, Miss B, we need to build them a school.
Build a school, no easy task. They started out raising money. They sold samosas, washed cars, screened movies, you name it. And in just a few months, this little class raised $20,000. So much, it's not just a one-room schoolhouse they can build, but a full 3-story school. And so Mrs. B set off on a journey she'd dreamed of, up into the dusty mountains above Port-au-Prince to a town called Canaan. It's home to thousands of earthquake refugees who live with no running water, no electricity, and no school, until now. The first step was a temporary school. It's up and running, 53 students already in uniform. The permanent school for 250 is growing from its foundations.
It makes me want to cry because she just makes me feel so awed, and I'm very proud of her.
All of this because of a handful of students back in Canada and Mrs. B, the teacher who believed in them.
These are for you.
At another fundraiser, a special tribute to the students, accepted by someone who without Mrs. B might not be here.
They believe in me and I believe in them, and together we not only change our lives, but we change the world around us.
For inspiring great things and seeing the potential in everyone, Serena Buffalino is this week's Everyday Hero.
This is the reason why I do what I do, is because of Yolanda and all the...
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been shown that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
Raise your hand if you've ever been busy. Raise your hand if you've ever got tired and feel like you just need a couple days off. Most people would have both hands up right now. That's our world, fast-paced and income-driven. That's why we get caught up in our own lives so often, and that's why it's understandable when most people don't focus on worries that aren't their own. So what makes someone become a humanitarian? Someone whose whole life focuses on the welfare of other humans.
When you go back and you see kids that were living on the streets, kids had no structure, they had no routine, people who had nothing, they didn't have meals. When you see that all of a sudden they're waking up, they have structure, they have something to do, they have a meal in their belly, their life changes completely. They, like I said, their self-esteem changes, their self-worth, their ability to know who they are in the world and what they have the potential of becoming. You know, to give that hope, to give that dream, and then to watch people actually use that to do good for themselves and others it's amazing. It becomes an addiction.
And with Serena's help, we'll find the meaning of life to a humanitarian.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. That's why I'm always dancing, but I was really dancing to say Happy New Year to the Time to Shine Happiness show with the BBs. First show in the year. First show. And really, we are now officially into our second year. Well, yeah. Okay, I'll say that. We're in our second year because in May, it's going to be 2 full years. Can you believe it? Oh, we're making it. We're moving. We're moving along. We are moving along. So let's talk New Year's for a second. How was your New Year's?
It was interesting because I really didn't I didn't have no plans to go really anywhere. And on another platform called Celebrate You for Women and Wellness, we did a special show for New Year's and just came on maybe for maybe a good hour, and we got dressed up a little bit and
glam from the waist up.
Glam from the waist up, and just was talking about different things. We did a reflection through the whole year of what we dealt with and what we things that happened good and things that we really move forward in our goals and all that kind of stuff. So it was really nice to do that. And then afterwards I said, I know I didn't go out and really do the party or whatever, but it was just nice to take a step back and just kind of, think about that kind of stuff for the whole year. Right. So yeah, I thought that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
What did you do?
With me, the same thing, just that we had a party here at the house, because we have a big family anyway. So we just had, neighbors and stuff over, and the kids were learning how to play poker with, play chips, and it just really was such a fun thing. And of course, my sort of son-in-law, he is such a good cook. And Cara's girlfriend, Melissa, her husband is a good cook. So they brought these wings and bacon wrapped water chestnuts with barbecue.
Ooh.
Oh, they were so good. They were so good. I was like, okay, I've got to walk away from this. I've got to walk away. But I'm quite proud of myself. I only get over the whole from Thanksgiving to Christmas. Lots of times the average is that people will gain 7 to 12 or 13 pounds.
Ooh.
So I hopped on the scale yesterday and it was like, okay, Barbara, you got to face the music here, step on the scale. And I did, and I only gained 3 pounds. I was quite pleased.
Oh, congratulations.
I was quite pleased. So, which kind of brings us to, this is the new year.
Yeah.
And I have really been reflecting on, the new year. We all make resolutions. We all set intentions for the year. One of the things that I really had to realize that in order to, and this applies not just to New Year's, but I think it becomes more relevant a little bit at New Year's, that we cannot possibly move forward unless we let go of the past. So one of the things that I'm encouraging people to do is look at 2021, good or bad. Look at the stuff that you think, oh, how could I not get it done? Which we talked about last week. Look at, but on the other hand, look at the things that you did get done and celebrate those things.
Yeah.
And celebrate those things. And so often I think that we don't do that enough. We don't celebrate the little things.
Yeah, I always say celebrate the victory. Some people say, yeah, you need to celebrate the little victories to get in and celebrate the big one. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to kind of turn that around a little bit. I said, we need to celebrate first of all victories are big victories because you're taking steps towards what you're trying to do. So that's why I always say, just celebrate victories, period.
Right.
In your life, celebrate victories, and then be grateful that you got to those victories. That's another thing. We need to celebrate them and be grateful that you were able to do that, because again, that's telling you somewhere in your life you're moving towards something that you're trying to do to, to make it, to your vision or goal, whatever it is. So yeah, we need to do that more.
And it is so true. And I love what you said about gratitude. One of the things that I read, and now right at this moment, I don't remember where I read it. Because I read stuff all the time, and it's like, oh, that would be good for the show, and I write it in a little note, and then it's like, okay, it's gone where it came from. Anyways, one of the things that in the last few days, it was take a gratitude walk. And of course, my first thought was, but we've just had a snowstorm. It's cold. It's snowy. It's icy. Do I really want to take a walk? Barbara, you are a personal development trainer. Talking to me, you do not have if you're living somewhere and if you're hearing this and you can go take an outside walk, go do it. It is so good for you. However, just because I didn't want to go out after the snow, we got 6 inches of snow and it was just cold, and my dog doesn't like the cold, and I said, Barbara, I can take a gratitude walk through my memories. And it was so nice. And that comes under letting go of the things that, that's not a memory I want to keep. I'm letting that one go. And I'm never going to think about that one again. Or the things that you did do that were that were good. And, oh, wow, I achieved. Let's pat myself on the back for that one, because I really did that one well.
Yeah. Well,
so take a gratitude walk, whether it's through your memories or just through your things that you're doing every day. Like one of the things that I do in the morning is I wake up and it's like, thank you, Lord, that I can see, that I can hear.
Yes.
That I woke up. All of those little things.
I love, Barbara, how you said, you took a gratitude walk in your mind. And that could be, every day. I mean, like you said, sometimes the outside is kind of, depending on how you feel about weather and what's going on. Right. So you can just do that, every other day or something in your mind, wherever you're at.
You can take a vacation in your mind.
That is.
I was like, and why I say that, because, see Simone Rivers. She always talks about that she does not like bugs. I love when she says that, because she's, I don't do bugs.
Well, she like me. I don't. I'm in the same category with her. I'm like,
and so that's where it comes. That's where it can come in. Just because you don't want to go outside, but you can sit at a window and look at the outside and take a walk through your memory. You have things that, because even things, go back as far as your memory, just see what comes up. Just sit down, like we always talk about, sit down, breathe,
breathe,
take your breath, and see, okay, what's a fun memory that I can come up that will just, and because everything that you have ever done is in your subconscious. So why not access the fun things?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and another,
just
like that. Yeah. Another thing, you're talking about, kind of like, just reflecting, but then don't let just don't keep thinking about what happened, what didn't happen, whatever. Yeah. And one of the things I did though, because another thing I do is I do go back just to get my lessons.
Exactly.
So make sure I write down the lessons that I learned from 2021 and hopefully not to take it into 2022, or change up or something, which one of the things that overall, because I did an overall, there was a little list of stuff, but the overall was, Barbara, that I had to really look at myself and look in the mirror. I always tell people, a lot of times you just got to look yourself in the mirror and really be true to you. Especially if you're trying to move forth, if you're not true to yourself, you're always going to be somewhere in limbo somewhere because you're not really thinking, okay, what can Barbara do to make it move better with this train, I call it. So I said, Barbara needs to go back to staying more focused.
Right.
More focused. I let a lot of different things pull me in different directions within, my ideas of my business and what I'm doing.
Shiny objects.
Yeah. And just shiny objects, and then other things that were pulling that at that time, the project that I was hopping onto, I should have been hopping onto it at that time. That should have been, put in the shelf. I would say put in the shelf so in there. Right. And then maybe look at it again when I have that time and really just focus on what I was doing in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So that's why I said now, and it's funny, as soon as I said that around December 25th, around Christmas. And I said, you know what, starting right now, I mean, a lot of people say, well, the first of the year, I can start right this second. I got it in my head. I said, I need to get more focused. Let's do it.
Right.
So that's why I started putting things into action already to keep me motivated and focused on the things that I need to be working on. And the stuff that I don't need to be working on right now, I have to say the big sentence, not just a word, but a sentence, no.
Yes, a whole sentence, yes. And you know what? That's why you and I are such friends and why we get along so well. Because I had the exact same talk with myself the other day. And it was, okay, Barbara. And so I got from my local bank, our bank president, I see her all the time. And so she came in, she said, yeah, I've got some extra of those big bank calendars. She said, do you want one? And I said, oh, you know what, Jean? Yes, I will take one. Not knowing why. Because I don't, I use my calendar on Google or on my, I use a Google calendar and da. But for some reason, it was yes. The answer was yes, I'm taking this big calendar. Well, guess what I'm putting on it? I'm reading a book right now, and it's called The Traveler's Gift. And it's about the 7 principles of success.
Oh, okay.
So one of the things, I got to the end of the book and have read it the second time. You read through the first one and I tend to skim. Second time it was like, ooh, yeah, but ooh, Barbara, you have to take this to heart. And part of it was make a commitment to yourself that you are going to take these 7 principles, write it down twice a day, every day for 21 days, each principle, and read the description of the principle every day, twice a day. And I said, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to start this on January 1st. Voice in my head, no, you're not. You're going to start it today. It must have been you channeling, because it was like, yeah, no, Barbara, no, you're starting today. So I've already been doing it for a week. And it was like, oh, wow, freedom. Because I'm writing it down, like, and the principle for the very first principle is take responsibility for your past. The buck stops here. You are responsible.
Wow.
And one of the things that have come out of it just this week is like when the first time I wrote it down, it was like, okay, yeah, you know, the things that I did as a teenager, the things I did in my 20s, you know, all those things. Oh, like I shouldn't have done that. What was I thinking? That kind of stuff. Now I have realized that, Barbara, take responsibility for what you did 2 hours ago. Or what you didn't do 2 hours ago. Oh, that has been a big lesson for this week. Is, you know what? It's your choice. You can move forward, or you can stay where you are. And either way, it's okay.
It's up to you.
Either way, it's okay. Because sometimes you do have to just stay put, and exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to stay put and reflect on where you are.
Yes.
And
Definitely.
so often, I think we don't do that.
No, yeah, we don't. We're so busy.
We get so caught up in the busyness of the doing. I think we talked about that last week. The doing, that we forget about the being.
You know what? When I said that and you said about the doing, something popped in my spirit. You know how things just pop sometime in your head.
Yeah.
So, I want to bring this out. So I was talking to another a friend of mine, and we're part of the organization Toastmasters, and we meet first and third of the month as a professional group. And we had a meeting before then because we were talking about for the new year how we're trying to, you know, what we want to do within the club and stuff. And then he kept saying, you know, Barbara, he said, I know this is off the topic, what we're talking about. He said, but don't you now can't really, it gets annoying when people say, oh, I'm just so busy. I'll get to that, but I'm so busy. I said, please. I said, I feel like that's like the word of the century, busy, busy, busy. He said, you know what? It's not, think about this, Barbara. It's not so much that a person's busy so much. Not saying that they're not doing work. He's not saying that. But it's the point of them saying, in their mind, they're saying busy, but it really is, it's not a priority for me right now.
Right.
And he said, because think about it, you will make time for something that you really need to do.
That you want to do.
You want to do, yes.
Or
Or you have to do. Because sometime at work, I can't sit there and say I'm busy. I mean, I'm talking about my day job. I have to just go and do it and figure out a way to get it done. So yeah, it comes to the point, Barbara, now we have to ask ourselves, okay, are you putting busy in place of I want to do this, or is a priority? It's not a priority in my head. Maybe in your head it's priority, but in my head it's really not. And that's why I'm putting busy to it. So what do you think about that, Barbara?
Oh, absolutely. And I loved what you just said. Sometimes you just have to say no. No is a sentence. No. You don't have to embellish on it. You don't have to give The thing is, don't you find, especially girls, especially women, that we think we have to give people an explanation?
Yeah.
You don't always. Just, no, I'm not going to do that right now. No explanation. I have planned, or if you do have to, one of the things, if you do have to really feel that you do have to say something, you know what? I already have plans for that time. I don't care if you're going to sit down and read a book. You have a plan for that time. You don't have to explain what your plan is. You know what? I have plans for that time.
Barbara, we always bring up some good things. You're so right. We do have a tendency as women to feel like we have to give this explanation to people and saying no. So even when you do your no, if you think you're confident in your no, when you got to go into the explanation part of it, it seems like the confidence dwindles down a little bit, because now in the back of your mind you're saying, "Oh, I said no." And I'm like, oh, but I got to give something. I got to tell them something, because they're going to look at me. They're going to think a certain way. They're going to do that. All of a sudden, all that comes in your head. So you kind of rush into, well, you know why I said no? Because da-da-da-da-da.
Well, we think we have to justify it.
Yeah.
We have to justify our answer. And here we are talking about it. And guess what? I still do it. I still do it. I think that I have to say, well, no, and then I go into an explanation or a justification of why I'm not going to do it, or why I am going. on the other side of it also is why you are going to do something. Just because somebody behind you is saying, "Ooh, really? Why are you going to do that?" Because it's going to move me forward. But why do you want to do that? Because I can. And we have this whole conversation with ourselves or with somebody else who is trying to talk us out of doing something that we know, and we know that we know that we know that we are supposed to do, that we are called. It's part of our calling. Like one of the examples I still use is you and I. I knew beyond any doubt that you and I had to do this show together. I would not have made it on my own. Not something that I would wanted to do. And yet now look at us, we're almost 2 years old.
2 years old. 2 years out there.
So if you know that you know that you know, something, stick to it. Yeah. Stick to your guns.
Yeah.
And just because otherwise that regret, and one of the things, fear and regret, it's a poor chisel for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I think Corey ten Boom said that from the attic. They lived in an attic for 2 years in the floor, and it was like, isn't that the truth? So if you're afraid of other people's opinions, let it go.
Yeah, if you're afraid, concerned,
take counsel. Absolutely, don't just willy-nilly go off and do stuff. But if you really feel that in your heart of hearts that you are called to do something, then go and do it. Find a way to do it, because the people who you are meant to do it with and for will appear. The ones that you're not supposed to do it with are going to fall by the wayside. They really are.
That's good. That's good. I like that. See, all this wisdom comes. It's just
let them fall by the wayside. Yeah. You're not necessarily supposed to be with those people.
And you know what that goes. Okay, now let's take that into the business, our business or our own business too. A lot of times, when we have certain things that we do, like maybe we have a webinar or workshop or a mentor or a membership thing that you're selling, your product or services. Right. And then you set a timeline and say, okay, this is the day I'm going to have the workshop. So you go back a month or a month and a half because you're promoting. And then you see yourself, you're like, okay, no one's signing up or no one has, and you get a little bit concerned and you're like, what's going on? Well, with those don't get that. And then some people 2 or 3 might come up. And I always tell people, because I went through this cycle with myself. I said, you want people that want to be a part of whatever service or product it is. You just don't want just anybody, because they're not getting nothing out of it. Right. And it's going to really be a rough road, because you're working with somebody that really just said, okay, they begged me or they asked me or, whatever the thing. Maybe it wasn't the reason they signed up because they want to, Right. And I always tell people, don't take on things that you really don't want to do. Or somebody say, oh, you should do it. In the back of your mind, you're like, well, not really, because it's not something that's in my business that I want to even talk about or whatever. I want to learn. So never, do it because you want to. Do it because it's going to push you forward. Right. Something in your life, not because others told you to, or, you're thinking whatever. Yeah. Because it's like it's a waste of time. And time.
It's a waste of energy.
And a waste
of energy. Because all you do is feel that you're being put upon, that you, it's like it gets a hold on you. And right at that moment, you might have thought, hey, this is a good thing and this will be good. But then all of a sudden you realize, why am I doing this? And then you and then you feel bad about trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
If you had just said no.
We keep it, no matter what, it keeps going back to the no sentence.
That no sentence. And even if you think that it could be something that you might do, you can say no. Not right now. Check back with me in 6 months. Because you never know how the ups and downs and ebbs and flow of life. Yeah. Life can change in a second. just because somebody is saying no to you, or you are saying no to someone else, doesn't mean that your answer can't change. You can, and one of the things that one time I was doing not really a class, but a friend of mine was talking about how do we get our kids to accept no? And I said, you just say no, with the caveat sometimes that, you know what, I might change my mind to yes. Because you can change a no to yes, but you can't, it's very hard to change a yes to no.
Oh, say that again, Barbara. That was good.
It's easier to say no, let me think about this, let me get back to me in 6 months, get back to me in a year, and you can change your mind in that year and say, hey, you know what, yeah, I've thought about that, that's a really good idea, let's do it. But once you've said yes, it is really hard to go back and now say, you know what, I'm not going to do this. No.
Because you know why it's harder? Because now, like I tell people, that's why you better be careful before you say yes, because now you're putting your integrity there, and you're putting your basically you're signing approval to say, okay, I said yes to this, now I'm committed. The commitment is there. So you made a commitment. And you know, most of the time you should be following through with it. I mean, if you're trying to do integrity in life and what you're trying to do. And I had to tell myself that, because there was, when I was way younger, I would be, you know, I was a yes woman. Always, okay, yes, I'll do it. And then I'm like, and then everything started piling up. I'm like, why did I say yes to all this? Why did I even say this? Because like you said, it went back to, well, I didn't want to hurt their feelings. I didn't, went through all that stuff. And then when I try to go back to someone and say, well, you know, I really might, well, we depend, the first thing, well, Barbara, you said yes. We depended on it. We had it, we kept going. And I said, ugh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then that starts a whole snowball of,
so you're talking about snowball effect. Like a blizzard.
Like a blizzard.
A blizzard.
And you've got all these things, and it's like, how am I going to possibly get all of this done? So now you're running yourself ragged.
And you could avoid it, like, okay, when you say, Barbara, what we keep saying, you could avoid all that by just saying the sentence no.
No.
Yeah.
No, or give yourself time to think about it. There have been times when people have asked me to do something, you know what, let me think about it. I don't have to, I mean, you are not obligated to make an instant decision. You know, God gives us grace to make decisions. Yeah, absolutely. Because we need to do that. Otherwise, we could never live life. However, he has also given us the ability to, if we've made a decision that's not quite right, or that we should have said no to, or whatever, he also gives us the ability to make it right. So take time to see, is this a right thing for me?
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. And before we, go to that note, we're going to take a little time for our sponsors. And we will be right back. So just to everybody know, just to kind of let everybody know if you're just coming on and kicking into our show, this is the time to shine happening. So with the BBs, Barbara Beckley and Barbara Ellis, we call ourselves the BBs. And I love doing that. I think I changed that part, but
you did that, and and it just made it so much easier for our guests. Oh, you're both Barbara. We've had several people that have said that.
I know that. It's like everybody's catching on, and then all of a sudden, like, it's kind of easy for us too. But I want to, before we get more into our kind of conversation here that we were talking about, no as a sentence and everything. Barbara, I want us to introduce ourselves, so I'll start with me since I'm talking still. So I'm a visibility and a social media strategist. I help especially women to, first of all, maneuver to figure out, like their purpose, what they're supposed to be doing in life, really what they do. We dig a little deep in there. Not just what somebody told you to do, or you think that what you're doing now, you got to continue on and on and on and not be happy. And then once we get through that, then I said, okay, we get you some visibility. And, visibility is, doing interviews, being on shows, hosting your own podcast show, and also the social media world. And I always tell people, I used to say jungle, but then I said, okay, that sounds kind of negative, even though it seemed like a jungle. I used to say social media jungle. And I was like, you know what, let me just bag back a little, just say world, because it is a world that people are trying to maneuver in, from TikTok to Instagram to everything. And what I usually say, and I want to hand it on to my partner in crime here, what she does, is when you think of social media or anything in life, you always have to be strategic in what you're doing and do a plan of action. So I say that because I see so many people getting on so many different platforms and social media. And then when I asked them, I said, well, why did you go on that platform? Do you feel comfortable? Is your so-called avatar clients on that platform, the ones that you're kind of looking for? What's going on there? Did you make that decision? How did you make that decision? They're like, oh, because I just like to play on it. That is one thing if you want to play on it. And that's fine, because I do. I go through TikTok and look at all the crazy stuff. Yes. Sometimes I look at it for two things, entertaining, and sometimes I get ideas from it on some things maybe I can do. But somewhere down the line, have a little plan if it's working towards your marketing or branding aspect of your business. So Barbara, tell them about you.
I'm Barbara Ellison. And like Barb, I'm so proud of you, because usually I'm the one that says, gee, Barb, we didn't introduce ourselves. And here's you. We just run right into our, New Year's. But anyways, I'm Barbara Ellison, and I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. And I have really realized, as I'm getting older myself, that so many people are getting out to their midlife and a little bit beyond. And the life that they're leading is not necessarily the one that they signed up for. Exactly what we were talking about. They're doing things that they don't necessarily, and yet they not quite sure how to change it. And that's exactly where I was after David died. I did not expect to be a widow at 60. And I had no idea who I was and what I wanted to do. And now I have really realized that that's who I want to work with. Is those especially the women that are either coming up to their they're in a corporate career that they're not necessarily they're not fulfilled. It's not like, I love when you say to fulfill their purpose, passion, and drive. If what you're doing right now is not doing that for you, change it. Now is the time to do it. And because so often we get caught up in because we're doing it. But then, then there's the women that have now that they've spent their life and their value, and because they've been raising their family and they're being a wife and a mother. And now all of a sudden their kids are in college and going, okay, well, now what?
Now what do I do?
Now what? And that's where I was after David died. And I'm going to share this because the day that I woke up from my widow's fog, I went, who are you? Outside of all of the labels that I had put on myself, and society. We all wear labels or a mask. And I know we've talked about this before, but with me, I was a wife and a mother. Well, but then I was divorced from my first husband, so I was a failure. Well, then I got married. I met David, so I got married again. I was a wife again, so then I was a success again, and then I was a grandmother, and then I was a widow. who was Barbara in all of that? And I had no clue and had no idea how to find out. But that's when I started the journey. Okay, I've got to find out, because I cannot go on like this for another day.
No.
So let me find out. And so if that's where you are right now, it's like with you. I love when you say, hey, you know what? If you know that you need to change something with your social media, then do it. Get somebody to help you do it.
Yeah.
Because we cannot possibly know everything ourselves.
And you don't. And even with me, Barbara, being a strategist, social media strategist, I have to, we create ourselves as our experts. We're continually learning. Even us is saying, we're being an expert at what we do. Barbara's an expert at what she does, but Barbara's always forever. I'm talking about both Barbaras too now, because we both take on researching, going to webinars, going to workshops, reading books, reading magazines, looking at what the trends are right now in our field and what we do. We continuously to do that because we have to keep up so we can help our clients or whoever to understand what we do to give them the right value. So I tell people all the time, I say, I'm a forever learner. I said, and I don't know everything.
Always learning. And one of the things for me is that, you know what? I might not know the answer for you right then, but let's work on it together to find out what the answer is for you, because I truly, truly believe that everything that we need to know about where our direction is within us. We just have to find it.
Yes.
And sometimes we need help to find that.
Barbara, you said that, because when you be talking your wisdom, things just pop out of my head that reminds me of stuff. So
we're a good team.
But what really just resonated when you said that, when you say you need to find that? Okay, everybody, I hope everybody seen the movie, the new and the old, of the Karate Kid. We all know back in the 80s. And now I've been on Netflix now looking at I forgot what it's called.
Cobra Kai or something?
Yeah, something like that. And I don't know if you've been watching it, but oh my God, if people have time to sit and do like a binge, binge on that, because there's so many. I mean, there's just like lessons flying left and right out of each one. And the part that I'm always loving what they do within the whole thing, be it if it's, Daniel, whoever, everybody in there, they always say, you have to take that moment.
Right.
I notice that every time if they're doing a fight or the karate or whatever they're doing, or just things in life, they always close their eyes and they take that time. You could just tell they're getting to that point that, okay, I have to focus now. I have to bring myself in. I have to really let the universe talk to me right now. And, every time I was seeing that, I said, this is what we need to do all the time.
Exactly.
All the time.
Exactly.
And you notice, Barbara, every time they do that, the victory comes just like that. It's like whatever they're dealing with, whatever situation it was, it's like it all works out because they finally centered themselves and focused.
Right. And that's one of the things for me that I've been really studying, is that, like all of the gurus, the specialists and all that, I am not a guru, but I'm good at what I do. Everything that is within us is let's try that again, Barbara.
I know we're excited about it.
Talk much, Barbara. Anyways, everything that is inside of us is what makes the difference. The thing is, we can choose what we put inside of us. So what we read, the books we read, the movies we watch. If you like, I love a movie that I learn a lesson from.
Yes, me too.
If I learn a lesson from it, then it was a good movie. If I listen to a webinar, if I get one thing out of it, then it was good for me to watch it.
Yes.
It's because you have to feed what's in yourself, because it's like they always say with on the airplane, put your own oxygen mask on
before
first.
You put it in. Yeah.
You cannot possibly give to someone else what you do not have yourself.
And just like you said, Barbara, you have to, it's in you. You, like you said, it's
in there.
In you. And that's why you have to do that little, going back to the karate, getting silent and really think, because now you got to go within yourself and say, okay, there's the answers here somewhere. Because like you said, Barbara, the answer's there. Right. But maybe you're so busy, your mind, everything's all over the place or whatever's going on, that you haven't centered yourself yet to make sure that you're like, okay, the answer was always there. Just, okay, now I'm thinking of all these movies in my head now. Now I'm thinking about the Wizard of Oz with Dorothy at the end.
Yeah, you're right.
The witch told
She
her
had the answer within her
all the time. You're going through the journey and the traveling of the Wizard of Oz and everything. You already had it in you all the time. That's just so epic. Every time, I go back and think about that.
Exactly. And we're not telling you to not be realistic about what your life is. Absolutely. I mean, we all have issues in our life.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, they don't have to define you, and and not that they define you, but you don't have to deny that it's the finality of it. If you're going through something right now, it comes under the heading of this too shall pass. And sometimes we get so caught up in that feeling of depression and anxiety. And one of the things that and a friend of mine said it to me yesterday, she said, well, depression is when somebody is so concentrating on the past. The anxiety comes when you're worried about what's going to happen tomorrow. The thing is, we only have today. What are you going to choose to do right now? And I'm going to plug for a second. Right now, if you're listening to this, you have a choice to share this out to somebody. It's a choice. We all have choices to make. And if you're being led to share it out, great, do it. If you're being led to support somebody else, go do it. We know what we need within us. We really do. And I just call it inspired action. Just sit down and get quiet, even if you only do it for 5 minutes. What do you want me to do right now? Something will come to you. Sometimes you'll say, really? Seriously? But that one action can lead to something else, and that can lead to something else, and can lead to something else. And then you'll look back a year from now and go, oh. That's what Steve Jobs says. You can look at your life and see the dots, that you've connected the dots.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And it just so, so just start the new year. This is a new year.
Yes.
It's a new year.
Yeah.
Let go of the stuff that's not serving you.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And you have to, like you said, you have to make that determination. You have to make that decision that, people look at the new, because somebody told me that yesterday, which they're kind of in depressed mode, like you said. And they were like, a lot of people, Barbara, they're talking about it's the new year. But you know what? Things that happened in December in my life did spill over to January. So technically it's not new, because I'm still dealing with things that, I was dealing with 2021, just like this pandemic. And they went through the whole, everything.
Oh, can you believe it's 2 years?
And it's
2 years we've been dealing with this.
Yeah. And they said, because basically they were saying that, even though we changed the new year, 2022, they still have things, or we all might have things that we're still dealing with from 2021, which I'm like, yeah, but you have to determine and make that decision in you, what lane you're going to go down. I said, right now, when I'm hearing you, that's why I was telling myself, I'm hearing you, you're going down the depressed, not grateful, worried about, upset and all that road. You need to go down, you have to make a decision. So if you want to go down that road, that's up to you. But really realize when you go down that road, this is what you're going to get. That's what I tell people. So if you make a decision going down the right road, say, you know what, I'm going to expand on this. I'm going to work on things. Maybe things are still not where it's supposed to be. Let me find other ways. Let me maybe talk to somebody. See, that's when you take that other road, ahead. So I think that's what it is, Barbara. We have to make that decision.
Exactly. And one of the things I think that people, New Year's Day, January 1st is a date on a calendar. That's it. It's a date on a calendar. What you do after that is entirely up to you.
That's good.
You get to experience life. And life is the ultimate adventure. It really is. People are looking for adventures. Life itself, every day you can have an adventure, whether you are having it in your mind. Go for a gratitude walk in your mind, because your brain doesn't know the difference.
That was so well put. What you said about that, about it's a date on the calendar, but it's what you do with it makes the difference. What's going to happen for that year? When you start off. So if you start off doom and gloom, well, you're bringing you're talking to the universe, saying, "Okay, let me just keep on
just
doing.
Bring me some more doom and gloom.
Yeah, just keep it coming." I was like, really? No. We're trying to make. I'm always hooked on to Barbara's purpose in life and mission, because I love it so much. Where she said we're trying to make happiness the norm. In order to do that, we have to make those decisions. What makes us happy, and the things that don't make us happy, we need to tell ourselves, well, okay, maybe we shouldn't be doing that. I mean, it's really simple, but we make it difficult. We really do.
Right. Okay, I have to tell on myself though too, because one of the things that I forgot to tell you, you just said, because you do social media. And you just said, well, sometimes we do things because people tell us to do it, not really without really knowing why we're doing it. Okay, fine. I've started doing TikTok because a friend of mine, she does these videos on TikTok, and they're fun. She volunteers at a animal shelter. And so the animals during the winter still need to be exercised. The goats, they have to, the goats and the sheep and there's llamas and all this kind of fun stuff. Anyway, so she creates videos about when she's exercising the goats, and they're hysterical. Anyway, so she's been telling me for months now, Barbie, you really need to be on TikTok. Well, finally, I just gave in. So New Year's Day, I started. I'm going to do, but you know what? Why am I doing it? Well, because she told me to, and yet she's my biggest cheerleader now. She sends me every day, Barb, your video got 607 views. And I'm like, awesome. and today I got a message from her that I have to do it today. She says, Barb, you need to do the analytics. And I'm like, analytics? No clue. So today I've got to figure out where the analytics are.
To see your numbers.
to see the numbers.
Yeah.
And you know what? But actually now I have to realize that I'm having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
So whether anything comes of it or not is entirely, it doesn't matter. Because I have been doing these 1-minute videos on TikTok and then uploading it to TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having fun doing it.
And that's the thing about, and I love that. I love that. Take it on the other side of it. You have found a passion in a sense you have of TikTok, which you didn't even really know way at the beginning, unless somebody came in your life, a friend, to say, Barbara, let's do these. And it don't take long, and you're discovering that this might even go to another path, maybe just for like more personal entertainment, or it might sink into your business and you can start using those videos towards that. So you never know where it goes. You never know where that's going to go.
Exactly. Right now, I am just enjoying doing it. It is fun for me. And I think one of the biggest things is that I have really realized that, and just talking to you right now, which is why I love the art conversations, because you and I have these all the time, but on the show, we're just talking to each other like we normally do, but we're doing it on air. Yeah.
Everybody's in our conversation.
We're just continuing the conversation. The thing is, though, is that when you enjoy something, right at this moment, I have absolutely no attachment to any result that I have. I am just enjoying doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just having fun with it. So like right now I'm doing a thing on the 21 days of New Year's.
Oh, okay.
And I think the first day was just, let go. I think the first thing was let go of last year. And now, and take a memory walk and all of these fun things that I've got 21 things to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having fun with it. Find something that you can just have fun with.
Yes. And just to add to
business, great. If it doesn't, great.
Yeah.
Either one, it doesn't matter. You're just having fun. You're just having fun with it. Do something that makes you smile. Make you smile.
And it's like I said, that's why we're in sync when it comes to what we do to help people. That goes back to when you're doing something fun that makes you smile, that you're like, wow, I get excited about this. And even to the point where it's a passion, you know where I'm going, then that gets to your purpose. That that goes a little bit into what your purpose is, because now all those things are kind of coming together in your life. So, the tools, those are little tools that kind of tell you to say, why am I doing this? Or, this really works at what I'm trying to do. It's putting a smile on my face. So now you're bringing happiness in, right? For what?
Because now I'm looking forward to doing it. Like I'm in a little bit. I know exactly what I'm going to talk about, and it's like I'm enjoying doing it. And whether anybody watches or not, I will do it whether anybody watches or not. But it is nice to have Sherry say, "Oh, Barb, you had 607 views." From where?
See, she's your accountable partner for TikTok. I love it.
And it has just been a fun few days now. Because what's today? Today's the 4th. So today's the 4th day I've done it. But I have no attachment to it.
Wow.
And so I'm just doing it because it makes me feel good. If somebody gets value from it, added bonus.
That's an added bonus, yeah.
Added bonus. But it makes me feel good.
And that's what's important. And
that is what I try to get across to my clients. What are you doing that makes you feel
good?
That you feel good, that you feel that there's something in there that, gee, I really like doing this. I don't care what, like I crochet baby blankets.
Oh,
I enjoy doing that. Find something that you like to do just because you like to do it. Whether you get paid to do it or you get any results from it, just because you like to do it.
Yeah.
And
because that's the payment right there. When
that's the payment
doing it and just like to do it and it fills your heart and your soul, that's payment of itself.
Right. Yeah. And that spills out into other areas of your life, because when you are enjoying one thing, it makes you happy. Well, when you're happy, guess what? That spills out into the other areas of your life.
Yes. And with that said, that was a wonderful, wonderful summary for us to say that we will see everybody next week because of our time.
I mean, it goes by so fast.
So with that, Barbara, as always, I love having these conversations with you. We, like I said, I tell people, when value comes out, we have fun. We give little tips, whatever we do. We bring in guests when we can. But, the biggest thing is on Time to Shine, Happiness Show. We want to make sure that, you yourself is having that happiness in your life. And like Barbara said, what makes you happy is very important. It's very important because it spills out all over the world when you're happy too, because people see that, they feel it. It's just like that vibe.
It's an energy.
It's an energy builder, for people. Yeah. So with that said, Barbara, welcome again. Happy New Year, lady.
Happy New Year.
Back next Tuesday. And Barbara, I know we do have a guest next week.
We do have a guest next week. And
is it Michael?
I believe, yes, it's Michael. I believe it is.
Bradford.
And, and we don't normally bring on guys. But when I was talking to him, once in a while, it's nice to have a male perspective.
Yeah.
And he has had a varied career, done a lot of speaking and all over the world. So he was a very interesting guy to talk to. So we'll see what he brings.
That's going to be awesome.
I love having a conversation.
Let's have a conversation. Yes. We love the guys too. We'll bring them on occasionally.
Exactly.
So with that, Barbara, we'll see each other next Tuesday.
Next week.
And just to remind everybody, we come on every Tuesday at 8:00 Central Time, right here on the Diamond Factor Show.
Let's do a plug. Don't we have our women's panel this week?
This Thursday. Yes, Barbara, please do the plug.
Yes, we are. I mean, we get together and we have all sorts of women who get together and we talk about, and so we'll probably be talking about goals and intentions, and because it's that time of year. Sometimes though we get caught up in making goals and intentions. Yes. And we forget. that, ooh, gee, should I be doing this or should I not be doing this? And so it's always good to get other perspectives. So that's what we are, the Diamond Factor Perspectives panel. And so come and join us on Thursday night at 8:00 Central.
Yes. And just to throw that in, because Barbara, when she said what topic we're going to be talking about, because I was rushing through my notes real quick, because I do have topics for the whole year this year. See, I'm focused. I'm trying to get focused. We're going to talk about, like you said, the goals, intentions, and the mindset of it.
And the mindset.
So just adding that to it. Yeah.
Can I change one little thing? One of the new words that I have learned, instead of having it a mindset, because set, it's the verbiage. Set is just like, gee, can I change it? One of the words that I'm now changing from having a mindset, changing my mindset, I am changing my mind flow.
Oh, okay. I'm writing that down.
When I read that, and I'm going to give Fraser Brooks all the power of it, I went, mind flow. Isn't that so much better than a mindset? A mindset is kind of like cut and dried. A mind flow is flowing, that we can change, we can absorb, we can move forward. So anyways.
Okay, so now people are getting just a little taste of what we're going to do on Thursday night at 8:00 Central Time, but it's going to be not just me and the BBs here, but some other women that's going to be joining us. So that's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. Yeah.
So it'll be fun. So that's one of the things we'll talk about is mind flow.
Yeah, mind flow. I like that.
Yeah.
Please remember to bring that up. I put it down. Yeah.
Perfect.
So we have some things. See, we always have things moving forward here. So you can come here on Tuesday. You can hear us if you love to hear us talk, or you can come like I said this Thursday, every first Thursday of the month, 8:00 Central Time. We have Diamond. I always forget Diamond Perspective Panel.
Diamond Perspective Panel.
Yes. So with that, thank you, Barbara, for another lovely show as always, and we'll see everybody next Tuesday.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm hanging on your every word, the love inside, I feel it burn. I've never felt this way before. I've had a taste, now I want more.